Now, welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here, joined by Coach Holt on a beautiful 4th of July, the country's birthday. So what an awesome deal today, Coach. Oh, yeah, I love the drip.
Yeah,
nice.
Side, American flag on the front. Yes, what a glorious day, Case. You know, always one of my favorite holidays and one of our sad holidays you can attest to in our lifetimes. But it's great anytime you can have 4th of July and talk about baseball. And like I said, happy 4th of July to all the Dodger Dogs out there. And looking forward to a big series coming up and just coming off a great series.
You know, you're not supposed to get too high or too low, but I'm not going to lie. I woke up this morning. I am just sky high this morning. Of course, it's 4th of July, which means we don't have to work, right? I love the 4th of July. The weather's great here in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City is back in town. Tulsa's playing better. Last night, Dustin May, absolutely, that was the Dustin May the Dodgers needed. There was nothing at all whatsoever, really even to nitpick. Tyler Glasnow, we'll get into his start here in a minute in rehab in Las Vegas. I thought he looked really, really good. The Dodgers have won a million different games. They have a 9-game lead. You have Ben Kasparius going tonight. Tomorrow night you have Framber Valdez versus Shohei Ohtani on a Saturday night showdown.
Yeah,
I haven't been this excited all year, Coach. I'm like a kid in a candy store this morning.
No, it's great for a lot of reasons, Case. Like you said, 4th of July is always a great day for us and all Americans to celebrate, our country. Regardless of what your political affiliation is, nobody cares. I don't care. All I care about is I love America. I love our people and love this great game. But no, it's great. The Dodgers coming off the great series. Like I said, Dustin May, I saw his last start live in Kansas City. Wasn't very pretty, but it was totally opposite of that. He came out and as you mentioned, looked like the guy the Dodgers need. He's turned into a guy. He's deep into already into July now, and he's healthy. So that, from what we can tell, he's healthy. Obvious, natural soreness, but just from pitching. But that was a great version of Dustin May we saw last night. I know he's pissed off when he walked off the mound because he's that kind of competitor. He wanted to walk out of there with 0 runs, and he made one mistake to a major league hitter and cost him a couple runs. But you look at the big picture. I know the Dodgers do, the fans do, you and I do, all the dogs do. It was a great outing for Dustin May. The Dodgers are playing great. Like I said, it doesn't seem that long ago we were talking about they were dead heat with the Giants, and we were playing the Giants right in the middle of it. Now you got a 9-game lead on both of them. The Dodgers have just, the other night, down 42 going in the 9th. I mean, I'm beginning to be like everybody else. I was sitting there going, well, I know we're going to win. I don't know how we're going to get 3 runs.
Yeah,
but
right.
It's almost like, yeah, we're going to win this one. I said it's going to be perfect. Kershaw threw his 100th pitch to get number 3,000. He's out. He hadn't had a loss this year. Okay, so he was 4-0, hadn't had a loss. And
I hadn't thought about that part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way in hell that he's going to get a loss tonight. It just wasn't going to happen.
Right, absolutely.
The Dodger gods and the Dodger dogs wasn't going to allow that to happen. And the Dodgers did what they've been doing all year in the last couple of years. The never say die, the grittiness, the determination. And Freddie's just the Hall of Famer that he is, comes through. He wasn't trying to do too much. Get it close to the plate, I'm going to get a freaking base hit and win the game. That's exactly what he did. So a great combination. Ohtani getting down the line, breaking up the, beating out the double play. Just because he's that great an athlete, he was able to do that. Just a lot of things win that inning. But to win that game, and then to win the series, as you mentioned, Case, the Tulsa Drillers are playing better. Oklahoma City is back. Up and down the Dodger network and the Dodger organization, things are looking good. And as we go into the dog days, quote unquote, it's almost feel like putting a hoodie on here today in Oklahoma. I hope it's so cool out. It's cloudy and cool. Looks like we got more rain coming. It's a great day to be a Dodger dog and a great day to be a Dodger fan, and always great to be on with you, Case. So yeah, now I'm like you. It's an exciting time. For a lot of reasons, mainly for our Dodgers and me to see you. We've got a lot of history on the 4th of July, good and bad. Some of the saddest days of our lives and some of the best days of our lives, been together, my family and your family. So it means a lot to me to be on the air with you today because it's a special day, and I'm excited as I can be.
Yeah, and I wanted to go live with this because nobody would know, but in 1991, my best friend Brad Holt, it was right after our senior year in high school, it was your nephew, and he was going to Cali County to play baseball. We grew up together, went to church together, grew up playing baseball together, against each other, with each other. I mean, Brad and I, well, you know, Coach, Brad and I were as close as you could possibly get, and still would be to this day. I'm sure we would hang out and go drink a beer together and that kind of thing if he was still here with us. Died in a car crash. You were the Legion coach at the time. It was just absolutely so tragic. I've actually had the honor to get to host the Brad Holt Memorial Tournament a couple of times at my facility. What an honor that was. So it is so special to get to come on with you, Coach. Brad's uncle, somebody who's meant so much to me. The Holt family's literally a second family to me. So, man, yeah, you're right. It's a celebratory day because it's 4th of July, but it's always a day that we remember the great Brad Holt and the wonderful life that he lived, although it was way too short.
Yeah, you're right, Case. I know that's your best friend. You guys are more like brothers than you were just friends, and your dad's like another dad. Terry coached you guys in that little Pepsi team. I remember you guys played on. Your dad was a coach. Your dad's not only a great man and a great friend of mine that I love dearly, he's a great baseball man. So that was a good situation for you guys to have a guy coaching like that who loved you and loved the game baseball. So, it was great. It's great to do it. We were able to have a tournament. My brother Ron and his beautiful wife Becky, that was their son. They hosted a tournament to make money to have a scholarship here at Stillwater High School, which they still do. The tournament's has gone away for a couple of years. Hopefully we'll get something up. They still do the scholarship fund to give to kids at Stillwater High School when they graduate or are going on to college. So it's turned into be a big positive. Yes, you hosted it at Squires Field there in Guthrie, where I played high school ball, and Brad was actually over watching me play a couple of times when he's a little guy. So it means a lot, how this is all tied together. Baseball being the number, family being number one, God, family, baseball's right up there with it as far as my family and your family. A lot of families. I remember Todd Smalley, great coach that coached with us, and you're a great friend of mine. 4th of July, he just said, that's baseball time. Always, 4th of July, go shoot your fireworks. We're going to play baseball, then we'll come watch them. But
we might watch them in between innings behind left field.
A lot of times at the ballpark, Case would be sitting there during the 4th of July tournament watching the fireworks. So great memories. Isn't it funny, the great memories that we have as we talk about baseball purists are on the baseball field or around the baseball field, my family, your family, a lot of other great families here in the Stillwater area, a lot of families around this great country. 4th of July is baseball. It's celebrating our great country, and it's baseball time. I love it.
4th of July is the one weekend where we'd have a big tournament in Stillwater, and Coach Holt, it was the one time of year he would get thrown out, and it was because Willie Young would bring his smoker, and Willie had made all these incredible ribs and just hamburgers and all that. So Tony is like, well, screw that. I love baseball, but I'm going up and hanging out with Willie, and I'm going to drink me a couple, and I'm going to eat me a hamburger and eat me some Willie Young ribs and yell from the left field bleachers. So that was always a fun time of year. Yeah,
Willie Young was my 14 under coach. We go way back with the great Willie Young, great Guthrie person. Like I said, he's my 14 under coach. When we grew up, we coached Legion ball together. One of my favorite memories is the 4th of July tournament. You mentioned that. I got thrown out the day before, so Willie and our teams were playing in the finals.
So
I know. Willie and I watched the finals on the press box. Willie and I were both in the press box watching the finals and having a good laugh and watching our teams compete, which is always great competition. Guthrie and Stillwater back in the day, and Legion, two great programs, and battle on the field, loved each other off the field. That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm
450 feet away from home plate. You still suck. And then after the game, we drink a beer together. That's kind of how things rolled back then. That's Billy Powell dropping F-bombs back at you. That was great stuff.
Oh, my God.
Hey, great Coach, talk about great stuff. The Dodgers last night. Sometimes we go to Canada and back because we have a hell of a lot of fun. And today's a day of remembrance for us. So I hope you hung in there with us on that. Let's get back to the Dodgers here, and let's talk about the Dodgers as of late. How about this, Coach? Swept the series with the White Sox. They won. So they've won 4 in a row, 5 of 6. They lost the one game on Saturday in Kansas City, of which I blame you because you and Melissa didn't stay for that Saturday game. I think they'd have won.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
So they've won 4 in a row, 5 of 6, 15 of 20, dating back to the last game of the Cardinals series. They have a 9-game lead over the Padres and the Giants. I mean, this thing has turned into a machine.
And the great part about it, Case, we're still not full speed. I mean,
no, right? Not even close.
Look around, you're like, you almost feel like we are in scramble mode with the pitching staff, with the bullpen especially, with all the injuries and everything. It's almost like quote unquote scramble mode. But then you're looking around and going 115 out of 20. That just pays credence to what we've all been saying, and everybody in baseball has been saying. This Dodger team's the best team in baseball, and I think even without all their bullets in their gun, for various reasons,
they're still injuries, the best team in baseball. Not so much on the offensive side, but the pitching staff, and they're still able to go on runs like this. And there's two good teams behind them. The Giants and the Padres. There's two really good teams behind them. They're 9 games out now. And the Dodgers don't show any signs of slowing down. Like I said, I know you will talk more about Max Muncy. Got great news there, but it's still an injury that's going to hurt for a while. For him and the team, obviously. So, but it's amazing. You almost take it for granted. That's not fair, but we almost take it for granted. Like, well, hell, I guess we're going to win every night. It's not usually that way in baseball, but that's the confidence. I'll say confidence. A lot of people that don't like the Dodgers, you cocky son of a, what? But yeah, right.
It's more confidence from the top down. We know our front office, they're going to do whatever. I don't know what they're going to do at the trade deadline. I'm not in those meetings. They'll do something, though. They're going to do something to try to win another world championship. They're not standing pat. They haven't all year. They haven't in the last several years. So, I got confidence from the top on down all the way to the Dodger fans who are Dodger dogs, the Dodgers are just going to continue. They show no signs of going in the drink. They may have a rough stretch here and there because that's baseball. Everybody has those. And they'll have another one. They'll have some more down periods. But good Lord, when you're still kind of in scramble mode with your pitching staff and you're just winning game after game, and kids coming up from the minor leagues, Justin Robleski becoming a force. We saw a great version of Dustin May last night. All indications maybe Glasnow is pretty close to coming back up. Mm-hmm. So you're almost we're making a run, and we're still sitting there going, yeah, we got some guys coming our way. You got some reinforcements coming. So it's just a great time right now for Dodgers.
It absolutely is. And Dustin May, how about let's freaking go, man. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 86 pitches, 62 strikes. He's emotional. He's that football emotional. He rides that roller coaster, which kind of sometimes when we talk about it can send him into that roller coaster that sends him off to Canada and back, right? We talk about that quite a bit. But I thought last night's emotions they were after results had happened, not before results had happened. So I felt like it was the good version of the emotional Dustin May because it was affecting him in a positive manner. So I thought that was a big part of it too.
No, the emotions didn't lead to negative results. It's a great way of putting it, Case. Every time he's got a ball in his hands, he's ready to deliver a pitch, he's competing his ass off.
Yes.
We know that. We know he's going to do it, and he has that emotion. That's what makes him, a major league pitcher. He has that drive, determination. If he doesn't land a pitch, he may show it a little bit more than other guys. He's pissed off. They all are, Mm-hmm. If they don't make the pitch, they don't, they're shoot for perfection. Baseball is not a game of perfection, but we coach it that way. The players work that way. The managers, everybody coaches for perfection, knowing it's not going to happen. So we're looking for the best results. He's throwing pitches, wanting to land everything. That's what you want out of the guy. But it didn't lead to any negative results. He didn't seem to carry over. He didn't have a whole lot of bad pitches or bad calls to the umpire. You always get a few of those in every game, but it didn't lead to something worse. He didn't. In other words, we always talk about, you said it a million times, so have I as a manager, next pitch.
Yeah, no doubt.
Baseball's a next pitch. This is the next pitch. You can't do anything about what just happened. This is the next pitch, and that's the way baseball is. It has to be that way, or it'll eat you alive. You won't have any success whatsoever if you can't deal with the failure and move on to the next pitch. So I thought he did a great job of that last night, of moving on for whatever reason he didn't like. He didn't let it affect him too much, and that's a great version for Dustin May.
Yeah, so he didn't let any of the stuff that he didn't like affect him. He wasn't emotional about any of the stuff he didn't like. but he was emotional about the stuff he did like. Now, obviously, you're frustrated that you give up a home run, that kind of deal, but that's not necessarily negativity. That's straight running competitiveness there.
Yeah.
And so 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, 86 pitches, 62 strikes, a season high in strikeouts, only 1 walk. Really, until the last inning, absolutely not anything to not be anything but sky high about. And the new version of Dustin May, he throws his sweeper more than any other pitch. I think that's a great play off of his sinker that we know. And here's the key last night for Dustin May. 3 pitches last night, Coach. 3 different pitches were in zone, over 50%. All 3 of those pitches were close to being in zone, 60%. When you can have 3 pitches that have the velo and the movement that Dustin May has that are almost 60% in the zone, forget about it. You're going to get what you get last night. That's how talented he is.
Yeah, and like I said, he has a frame where it looks like all assholes and elbows.
It does.
When he delivers the plate. It makes the stuff even better. And like you said, landing 3 pitches there and the competitive nature he has with him. I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but the worst start he's had is the one in Kansas City. I think the entire year. Is that correct? That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I can't confirm that, but I think you're right there.
I think it seems like that's true. And again, Bobby Witt Jr. hits a tee shot to left center field for a home run.
He's good.
He's a dude. He's really, really good. So I don't hold that against him. Bobby Witt Jr. can do that to anybody. So, but again, there's some other thing. He had some trouble landing. Getting behind the count that day. If I remember correctly, there in Kansas City, I remember telling Melissa he's getting behind the count is because me and you had just talked about the, strike. I want 2 strikeouts first 3 pitches. We just talked about that a couple of days before that, or maybe that day actually. Yeah. I think we did that morning actually. Yeah. And then we got there, and I was talking to Melissa about it. Hey, he getting behind the count's not good. All of a sudden, he got a 7-iron along the line. Oh my God, what a shot by Bobby Witt Jr. But he's that dude. So that. But he had trouble landing stuff. So his body of work for the entire season is very good. Everybody has bad starts. Who gives a crap? A big time, a great hitter catches one on you, and you have some trouble, some other stuff, and it happens to everybody. But the Dodgers are just going to continue forward. Gives us a lot. I guess him and Yamamoto, if I'm not mistaken, Case. I don't know if you told me this or if I read it somewhere, are the only ones that haven't missed a start this year.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been an absolute workhorse grinder.
Yeah, so that's that dependability, which he's had, some injury issues in previous years. So maybe this is, as we're seeing Justin Robleski become what he's becoming, maybe we're seeing that's Dustin May, another version of Dustin May that is going to be off the charts. And that's an optimistic way of looking at it. That's the way I'm going to look at it, though.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, we have an awesome crowd logging in. Chuck Huddleston says hello to you and myself as well. Hey, he's going to be at Dodger Stadium at the Red Sox games you're going to be at. He'd like to meet up and say hi to you if you have a chance to do that. So that's Chuck Huddleston. He's one of our wonderful moderators here and just always leaves awesome comments. So maybe you and Chuck can figure out a way to meet up at Fenway Stadium whenever y'all are both there. Bob Tan, God bless America, no doubt about that. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Elisheba Jones, thank you so much for joining in. Craig Osterberg, good morning or good afternoon, whatever time it may be. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, as the clock says.
Yes.
Liam, thank you so much for joining. And as we roll on here, Tracy Cavillo is in the chat. Bob Tan and Douglas Dillard. So we have a great crowd logging in, and it's just getting started. So get on the horn, tell everybody we are live on Dodgers Dogs. We're going to be talking about the Tyler Glasnow rehab. We're going to be talking about last night's game. We're going to talk about the trash can Tros coming in tonight and the great series that we have coming up. We're going to talk a lot of smack, and we're not going to hold back because we do not like the Astros, and we're not. And, hey, this is going to be a no holds barred type of 4th of July show because they took a World Series away from us in 2017. They're in town, and I'm fired up about it, and I want to kick their ass. So we're going to go no holds barred on the Astros here before we move on. But, hey, our next topic here, Coach, Michael Conforto.
Yes.
Of course, he's still only in the 170s or whatever it may be, but he's made great catches on back-to-back. I think like 3 great catches now. He hit the 2-run home run last night. Of course, he only had 1 hit out of 4 bats, but it was the 2-run home run, and it flipped the scoreboard. That was huge. And how about this for Conforto? He's hitting .269 in his last 7 games. His OPS in those 7 games is .834. He has hits in 6 of his last 8 games, so it's been a pretty good little stretch here, and is 7 for his last 24. He has 3 home runs in his last 4 games. So is this Michael Conforto finally coming around and getting comfortable in a Dodgers uniform, or is this just baseball and you have hot streaks as it goes on?
I know we talked about this on previous podcasts recently. We was talking about how long a leash the Dodgers are going to have on Conforto. At that time, he's in the 140s, wasn't he, Case? I think he was hitting down the 140-something range. So you've already seen he's raised at 30 points. And I don't have his numbers in front of what his career is. I think he's career 240, 250 kind of guy, I think, maybe 260, somewhere around. I don't know what his career numbers are. But, as we talked at that time, we're not with the ball club every day. I'm not with, the hitting coach with him in the cage or what they're seeing. They were seeing something, watching him work. They were seeing something like, no, he's going to get it. He's going to get it. I still like what I'm seeing. He's not getting the results that we want, we want, but I still like, it almost seemed like, it was that point. We know he's been a solid major leaguer his entire career. And the Dodgers we're seeing something there. We knew if it continued in the 140 range, continued on, something would have to change.
You're right. He's a career 246 hitter. You're right on the head.
There you go.
And he's been good, like away from home at the venues that are hitter friendly. He's been good at those venues.
Yeah, and so I think I'm going to be Mr. Positive today until I get negative about the Astros later, but I'm going to be Mr. Positivity right now. I think we're seeing Conforto, again, it's a new organization, new culture, and it's a great culture. We already know that. They're the world champions, and look at their leadership. It's off the charts, about the players and the manager and the front. It's a total culture deal. He's getting used to it. I mean, I don't think, things. Maybe they changed some things with his swing. I don't know. I'm not in on those meetings.
Couple tweaks.
Watching him hit every day and the drill work he's putting in and the things they're doing. If what they've made changes, they're not going to share that information with anybody. Whatever the reason may be. But I know they liked him. They were sticking with him, and I'm going to be Mr. Positive here for a moment, which I'm not very often. Well, I usually am now. I'm getting old, so I'm more now than I used to be. But he's. I think we're getting ready to see him go on his little run. And what a great time for that to happen with Max being out for a few weeks here. And if Conforto, if this does prove out to be what we're saying, we're seeing him come alive right there. That's and something else. And we know Freddie. Don't worry about Freddie. He had a rough June. He's fine. Mookie. These are Hall of Fame ball players. They're not washed up any stretch. Trust me. So I don't really have to worry about that. But again, Max is out. And he'd been hitting very well, playing very well. He'd been playing the top, the best he's played all year. But that's the nature of sports and major leaguers. It's the next man up. So whatever they'll be fine defensively at third base, whether it's Kike or Mickey Rowe gets over there. Whoever's playing third base, we're going to be. Edmund may get some reps over there. We're going to be fine at third base. But that run producer that Max was becoming again, somebody you got to have other people pick that up. And hopefully Conforto's right in the middle of being one of those guys.
I mean, it sucks to have Max Muncy out, but the way that this team rolls, I mean, it would suggest they're not even going to miss a beat because they'll just figure out how to continue to win games because that's what they've done with every other situation with guys like Ben Kasperius who are getting the starts tonight. So let's hope that this is a trend for Michael Conforto, that he's turning into the type of player that we expected him to be. Hey, this is why Dodgers Dawgs is part of the Dodgers Daily Network, is absolutely the best chat out there in terms of just intelligent conversation. It's not the biggest, but if you want intelligent conversation about great topics, this is the place for you. How about this? From Tracy Calvillo. Thank you so much for joining, Tracy. Great comment. Run support, going all the way back to the Yamamoto start. Run support really allows pitchers to get loose. It's a game changer, isn't it?
That's spot on, Tracy. As coaches and managers, as Case and I have been in that dugout, that makes it, that makes everybody's life easy. And like
makes the pitch caller easier, like you call pitches easier. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this the last time, whether it's a coach calling it, whether it's a catcher calling it, whoever the hell's calling pitches, I think we talked about this on our last podcast. Well, I know we did. We were talking about, who's calling pitches, the confidence you have in calling. If the pitcher's landing everything, obviously, you just know we're going. It's kind of like in Major League. Well, what do I call now? I mean, he's going to throw a damn fastball, but you can just you can pitch whatever the hell you want. It's not even pitching backwards. It's just dominating people because you can throw whatever the hell you want, whatever count it is, and you're going to land it. So, but Tracy's spot on right there. When you get runs, Gary Ward, the great Gary Ward, the scoreboard pressure, that's positive and negative. When you get a 2 or 3 run lead, yes, you'll throw pitches. You're attacking hitters a little bit differently than you are if it's 0-0 or that sort of thing. So run support is so big for pitchers' makeup and the way they're going to attack hitters.
100%. Coach, kind of going to your scoreboard pressure comment there, I think this is an interesting and it's definitely worth at least having a discussion here. Dodger Z Showtime fans makes this statement. Again, Conforto hit against the worst team in the American League. So is that a situation to where you go, well, it's the only opportunity you had because that's who the Dodgers had on their schedule? Or is it one of those deals where he hasn't been very good this year? It was a terrible team. You knew the Dodgers were going to sweep that team. So he's doing it in kind of trash time, if you will. There's garbage buckets. He was getting garbage buckets. Is there an argument to be made for that?
Well, I mean, you can look at that one or two. That is a legitimate argument.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's a legitimate argument.
Not to throw shade on anybody. It's a legitimate question to ask and statement to make. Are these garbage buckets against the White Sox?
Yeah, that's very intelligent and legitimate question. Is it because of that? So you look at the other side. Well, Ohtani didn't have a very good series.
Correct.
I mean, he's maybe the greatest player on the planet right now. Him or Judge, or probably both of them. But and he sucked in the series. I'll just say it. As far as getting hits and stuff like that.
It is what it is.
Whatever. He's our guy. I'm not saying anything. That's not a negative take. But if you look at the series he had, it wasn't very good. So do we downplay Conforto because he had some hits against the worst team in the American League? So what he said, wait, do we have a problem with Ohtani? He can't get hits off him. You know what I'm saying? So both of those are legitimate, and both of those are legitimate, things to say. There's nothing, and we're not throwing shade on anybody anytime. But I guess in the course of 162 games in a major league schedule, time will tell on that. But that's a legitimate question right there, and very intelligent to approach it. Well, like I said, I look at it the other way too. Okay, is Ohtani going to hell? He had a bad series against the White Sox. Is he going to go to hell now? And also, by the way, which the last time, every time he pitches, he hadn't had a hit. I think he was over in the games he's pitched so far. So that's something else moving forward. We know we know who he is. He's the MVP. Probably going to be it again this year. But we just talk with facts here. No throwing shade on anybody. Facts is what we discuss, and that's a great question.
Yeah, because you and I have both been in that situation to where you have a guy that has not been a good hitter. Then you put him in against like the worst team you play on the schedule, and they get 3 hits. Now all of a sudden, mom and dad are like, "Yeah, see, he should be playing." You're going, "Well, the guy was throwing." I mean, It was 21-1. So we have been there so many different times to know the impact of guys getting garbage buckets. So that's when I saw that, I was like, that's such an intelligent comment to make. Not to say they are. I think there's a wait and see. I mean, that's up to Michael Conforto. If he continues to do that, has a good series against the Astros, continues to climb, fine. But if a week from now he's right back to being the Michael Conforto he was before, then I think you have to go back and go, well, so what you do with that kid that goes like 4 for 6 against the worst team on your schedule, then you put him up against a guy who's throwing 94 in a district game on a Tuesday and he gets his doors blown off. Now you're going, well, there you go. That's kind of the situation that we have going with Michael Conforto. So again, a great conversation, very much so, very astute. So, hey, another astute observation from you many different times is that Dalton Rushing has a very defined role. His role is to play enough to keep Will Smith fresh and to keep Will Smith, in my opinion, as the best catcher, not in the National League in baseball. I would take him over Cal Raleigh because he does everything other than slug better. Right. I would take all the other things. So I think he's the best catcher in baseball. So the job for Dalton Rushing is to keep Will Smith as that type of player. But we know he's so talented that he could bust through that. And I think your point that you've made on several different podcasts, this is his time, because this is when it's going to start getting hot. This is whenever the body's really going to start breaking down. This is where Dalton Rushing is going to have a bigger window, you would have to think, coming up.
No,
good to see him get a hit last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no doubt about that, what his job is there, but he can work into more than that case, like you said. You know, we knew Austin Barnes, his role for several years, what it was. And we knew who he was and what he was, which he was a great contributor to the Dodger organization and to great success. But Rushing, yeah, this is his time. You know, he spent his time in the minor leagues. They let Barnes go and brought him up. He's staying. He's not going anywhere. You know, he's going to, and like you said, he's probably going to get more touches. He's going to get more playing time as the more games we get into here in the dog days to take care of Will's body. But there's also that opportunity. He can work that into something else. You know, if he's really looking good, there's, they can use him as a pinch hitter at some spot. I don't think he plays the other position, but he could be used as a pinch hitter somewhere, up and down the line if you need one. If he becomes that player where they would have that kind of confidence in him, to do that. But it's kind of what you said a while ago about Conforto. It's kind of the Rushing. I mean, I don't think he has the pressure of going, oh crap, he's going to go bad. He's going back to Oklahoma City. Hell no, he ain't going to Oklahoma City. He's L.A. He's staying in L.A. this year, and he hasn't shown any reason for them to scrap those plans and send him to Oklahoma City and go make a trade. That's all they can do. That's their only other option. They're not going to do that crap. He's not going to Oklahoma City unless something bad, unfortunate happens. But so he's going to get his opportunity, and maybe we see something that he shows a little bit more than just being, hey, this guy's a backup, but hell, we could play with him for a week if we had to, if Will gets banged up a little bit.
Or we need to find him at bats because he's just that good, that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Find him at bats. That's what I'm saying. Get some pinch hits here and there. Maybe work him in a pinch hitting role every game just to get him some at bats. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned it earlier. You don't worry about Freddie Freeman. It's like he had the June that struggled, and then he got the walk-off. He had the 2 hits on Wednesday, and then voila. It's Freddie Freeman again. I mean, he's not hitting home runs and that kind of deal, but, man, Freddie Freeman is so good. He is the guy, you said it perfectly. You just don't worry about those guys. You just, okay, it's Freddie. He's going to be fine.
It's like Mookie. I mean, we know Mookie, whatever illness he had before the start of the season, it knocked him for a damn loop. I can lose 20 pounds. Nobody will ever know. Mookie Betts loses 20 pounds. It affects him big time. And the injuries he's fought. And we don't know. We don't know everything about the bodies, what they're going through right now. He probably still got some issues and things going on because they're getting him and Freddie both some days off.
So he needed that home run last night, though. He needed that. Even those types of guys need sparks.
Yes, those guys. You don't worry about him yet. We still need him to be Mookie Betts.
Yes,
I guess is the best way of putting it. Whatever version of that is. He's an MVP. He's a Hall of Famer. We still need him to be Mookie Betts, and that's the part I say that we don't worry about him. He's going to be in that. Dave's doing a great job of getting him rest for whatever's ailing him at the time. Him and Freddie both getting those days off to take care of their bodies, but. Hitting the home run last night. We know what we have in Mookie Betts. He's not washed up. Either one of those guys.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
That's not even in the conversation. These guys are at the peak. They're at the peak of their careers. They're at the peak of their careers. So that's why I personally, I don't know what everybody else feels. I don't worry about those 3 guys right there. I get pissed off, when sometimes I get pissed off every time I see Ohtani strike out. That's not fair. But that's me. I'm going, what the heck, dude? Quit pulling off the ball. Mr.
That blows me up. That blows me up.
Oklahoma American Legion High School coach, quit pulling off the damn ball.
Then I have to go, okay.
That's not fair.
It's Shohei Ohtani, so just shut the hell up, old man.
Shut up, Mr. Coach Holt, Mr. Little League coach in Oklahoma.
Absolutely. Mr. Nothing, just shut the hell up, man.
That's a fan coming out at me thinking we got to get a base hit every time up. It used to be the same way when Barry Sanders was here.
Oh, yeah.
He had a 5-yard gain. You're like, what the hell, man?
Or he'd run backwards and lose 1 yard instead of plowing forward like they tell running backs and getting 1 yard. You're like,
Barry,
damn, you lost a yard, Barry. Well, then he'd do the same little shake and bake in the backfield and go for 70. And you're, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, he was always Barry Sanders. But we wanted to, and he almost did it. Like he's going to get a first down every time he carried the damn ball. So
man.
Kind of the same thing. That's not really fair.
Unless it was 4th down against OU.
Yes. That's,
Oh, that was
not
tough.
good.
That was
You're
tough.
correct. Yep.
That was a tough comment.
Not that it hurt us or anything, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so how do you say his name? Ruiz. I don't know. Hell, I mean, I've heard it pronounced a million different ways. Ruiz. Let's just call him Ruiz. So now I've butchered the first name. I'm going to butcher it every time I say it. I just can't. I actually know how to say. I've heard Alex Friedman say it a million different times, and the broadcast crew did a great job pronouncing his name last night, but I can't pronounce it worth the crap. I just absolutely can't do it. So I'm just going to call him Ruiz, okay? We got to see him come in late game defensive replacement. I mean, he caught a routine fly ball. I mean, that's a routine. That's routine as it gets. Right. But it was like you just could see the speed, like, oh, damn, watch that. Look at that speed. So, I mean, Ruiz, lots of speed, another option, late game defensive replacement. That's going to tie into our conversation at third, because instead of bringing up an infielder like they could with maybe Michael Chavez, who I think is going to go play in Japan, or like an Alex Freeland, who played third base last night. By the way, if you like tinfoil conspiracies, the Dodgers need to play Alex. If they're going to bring him up, they need to let Alex have about 3 weeks or a couple weeks at third base and get back comfortable with that position to bring him up for that. And if it becomes long-term, they can do that at third base. They can weigh their options at that point. They've decided to go in-house with the infielders with mainly Miguel Rojas, mainly Kike Hernandez, maybe occasionally Tommy Edman. We'll see how that works out. And in the corresponding move, then you bring Ruiz to be an outfielder, and we got to see the speed last night. Very exciting.
No, you can see what the Dodgers are doing there. Even though I'm not privy to anything in the organization, they're going to do one of two things: they're bringing a third baseman up, or we've got guys who can play third on the squad already. So it's obvious what they did. They brought up a guy who's very hot in Oklahoma City. He was playing very well in Oklahoma City. He was hot. He's been in the big leagues before and has some success. Yep. So he's got some experience there.
Honestly, he's kind of gotten screwed in his big league career. I mean, it's like he should have more big league touches, in my opinion. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you just never know with the organizations. Maybe he's with the right one now that he may come up and we'll never see him go back down. He stays up here. Nothing else. You got a freaking pinch runner at some point. You know, you got a winning run. You want to use a pitch runner. That's the worst.
You need the Dave Roberts stolen base. Bring in Ruiz.
Absolutely. Needs stolen base, needs speed on the bases. So he brings a lot to the table defensively with his speed and offensively when he's on the base pass. So the Dodgers, they always have a plan. They got a plan A through plan Z, I think you said one time. They've got a plan for everything. They have to, because it's the nature of the business. And they know better than anybody how to deal with injuries.
Damn right
I know
they
every
do.
major league team deals with it, but the Dodgers, they're truly next man up. In their mind, this is the best move to make right now. We're going to be fine defensively at third. Those three guys you just mentioned can all play third base, and they can play it well. We're not, the defensively, whatever, but that takes them out of the outfield equation. So you need an outfielder. So great move by the Dodgers. We'll see how it works out. But there's more positives in our neck because this guy can freaking fly. And he also can swing the bat in the AAA level, so he's not horrible there either. So he brings a lot to the table defensively and on the bases. So there's not a whole lot not to like about this move they make right now. We'll see how it pans out, though.
I've had a chance to talk to Ruiz probably 10 different times, and he never wants to interview because they're not confident with their English. At least that's what they give you. I just don't think he likes interviewing, that kind of deal. He hung out with Stuart Burrow a lot. Stuart Burrow is kind of in the same situation. Got a cup of coffee with Toronto in the major leagues last year. I had a chance to talk to Stuart too on an interview, and they both were just really super happy-go-lucky guys. They just love to have fun. They're joking around all the time. Always call me bro, that kind of, bro, maybe next, no habla inglés, that kind of thing, Yeah. So Ruiz, I promise you, he's got that Teo Hernandez factor to him where he's just really fun. He's fun-loving. Dodgers fans he's not going to get enough playing time like Teo did. But from all those intangible aspects, beyond just the speed, he's going to fit right into that clubhouse.
Yeah, he could be. I don't know if they use him as maybe a late game defensive sub.
No doubt.
In that situation, he's definitely in the mix when it comes to pinch runners and that sort of thing. To have guys doing that stuff, so it's going to bring a lot to it. Like I said, the Dodgers know what they're doing, this in their mind, this is the best move to make right now. And then outside looking in, it looks like a hell of a move. And like I said, it may end up being better than we even thought it was, depending on how he performs when he gets his opportunities to be like, we've seen it in major leagues, in all major sports, mainly in baseball, because you have guys coming up and down for the minor leagues and big leagues. Sometimes they come up and they never leave. Hell, Matt Holliday came up because Larry Walker got hurt. Yeah. Larry Walker gets hurt, they bring Matt Holliday up. Well, hell, he never leaves. He had a great spring, but he was sent to Colorado Springs. And that's just one story out of thousands of guys who, they bring him up to the major leagues, and it's like, what the hell? this guy ain't going anywhere. Matt's average in the major leagues is better than it was in the minor leagues. So you just don't know until they actually get there and get those touches on the highest, the biggest stage, the highest level of baseball. We don't. This may end up being a better move than we thought if this guy sticks around, and it may go to hell too, because it is baseball. It may end up being. I can't see it going to hell, because we already know what we got with the defensive guys at third base. Those guys can all play it. We're not going to see a bunch of errors at third and go, what the hell? We got to bring it. I don't think we're going to see that. But Ruiz, this is a great opportunity for him. If you hear, how long Max is going to be out, he may be up for a while, so he's going to get a chance. But like I said, he brings some experience already, and he's very hot. So he's got a lot of confidence coming out of Oklahoma City. So, again, Mr. Positivity here for now, Case. I say it's going to be a great move, and it's going to work out great for both the Dodgers and Esteury. I'll say that. Esteury Ruiz.
Esteury. Esteury is actually how you say it, but Esteury is easier. So you kind of got to see his speed right here. Are you seeing him here, Coach? I don't think you are. Actually, let me do this right here. And here's kind of an example of his speed. Watch this. Chop it into the ground and go right there. This is about a 4.0 to first base, which is, let me back that up. This is a very tough play. A lot of major leaguers are going to beat this out. That's not the point. But everything's made perfectly by the third baseman. He throws off his right foot. And what I want you to take note of is look how easily he is safe on this play. Yeah. This is not just speed. This is big-time speed that the Dodgers are bringing up with Esteury Ruiz. And like you said several different times here, he is actually very, very hot right now, too. Yeah. So there's the speed right there. He beats that out by a step and a half, maybe 2 steps. And then he goes the other way, right? That what I don't really like the lift in his swing, if you notice. I do like the fact that he went the other way at that pitch. If you have speed like him, I get the wanting to hit the ball in the air and that kind of thing. There's that speed again. But to me, do that right there. See right there. See, I just think that's too much lift to me. That's just for a guy that can run probably sub 4 to first base. I don't have that confirmed. For a guy as fast as Esteury Ruiz, I don't like that lift. I don't like that lean, getting behind the ball like that. That's more of a slugger type approach. I would rather him stay like Coach Days would say, over the ball, keep the barrel over the ball, and really try to hit the middle of the ball. And if you miss, hit the top of the ball instead of the bottom. Not for every hitter, but for his type of hitter. That's probably the one thing that I would say I don't like about his setup, because I think that's going to lead to strikeouts. And the last thing that you want with a guy that can run like him, like this, is him not to put the damn thing in play is all you want out of him.
Yeah, back in the old days, you used to always say, guys, speed. Said you can't steal first base though. So you got to get them on first somehow or another. You have to beat it. And I used to tell kids on our level on the high school, hey, if you got speed, beat the ground, you'll pick up I always just told them,
you'll hit 250.
Now you'll get an extra 100 points on your damn back just because you can run where other guys can't. Like that right there, the third baseman made about as good a play as he could possibly make, and he just beats it out because you tip your cap to the guy and you go on. But I'm like you, beat it in the ground and use your damn wheels, hit line drives, ground. I know that major leaguers don't like to see the line drive, blah, blah, blah. Here's the other good part about this. Say Max is out 6 weeks. Ruiz, now, I know he's got great coaches there. We know Henny's an outstanding manager he's got there in Oklahoma City. I know they got a great coaching staff. Yeah,
Manny Burris.
But now he's going to be coached with the major leaguers. Dave Roberts is going to stand in the cage while he's hitting. The Dodgers hitting, the Dodgers staff. And he also is going to have Hall of Fame hitters standing around and go, hey, man, they're wanting to win too. And they might, Freddie, Mookie might see, say, hey, dude, or somebody, a big leaguer who has had success might talk him in, might work with him some, because they're on the same team here. Mm-hmm. He's going to get but that's the thing. If he's up 6 weeks, just think about all the reps he's going to get if it's just in the cage with major league manager and coaches watching him and Hall of Fame players around
100%.
him. You know, that's invaluable for this young man to soak up everything he hears. He can just stand around the cage by Freddie, watch guys hit. Shit, he'll learn something. You know, that's the Mr. Positivity here again. But I'm telling you, that is invaluable for him to be up with the Dodgers in the big league club and seeing and feeling and hearing everything he needs to hear on this level.
Totally agree. So if it's short term, I think the Dodgers will just deal with what they have, try to figure out a way to get Max Muncy back, although that will be a very difficult timeline. Who you're seeing right here, I think if it becomes long term, this is one guy that you might see. This is Alex Freeland playing third base. You can see great athlete, well, good enough arm. He plays shortstop more because he's such a great athlete. Here's another great play. That's Alex Freeland at third base. So nobody's going to tell me that Alex Freeland doesn't have every tool. I mean, you saw the two tools you need. Behind the back, the strong arm throw, and then the athletic ability and ability to run, make a throw on the move coming in. I mean, he has right there, you saw it with your own eyes. He has everything he needs to be a very good third baseman. He just needs more. See, this is him at shortstop. Great athlete here. He just needs more time there in the recent to get more comfortable to bring him up to third base. And the Dodgers, I think, the way that they're doing this is him at media day this year. The way they're doing this, if it's short term, we'll bring up Ruiz. We'll deal with the third base situation with two very veteran defenders in Kike and Rojas. We'll figure out the offense from there. If it becomes long term, I think at that point, your choice is let's bring up Alex Freeland and make him the third baseman of the future and let him just ride out the rest of the season. And let's go with it like you did Corey Seager in 2015. Or your other decision would be, let's go find Ryan McMahon or somebody in the trade market. So until it becomes like a situation to where, well, I don't think we're going to have Max back this year. I don't think you'll see Alex Freeland come up because of this situation. But if it becomes long term, I think he's the first one in line.
No, I think it's a great observation, Case. We still don't know about how the Muncy, how long, and we do know this. The Dodgers are very smart with this. We do know what they're going to do. They're not going to push Max. He's not coming back when he's still injured. Right. Because they don't. They again, Dodgers are playing for a world championship. They're playing for a World Series title, and Max. They feel Max has to be there for them to achieve that. And that, if you really want to look at it, so they're not going to push him. It's not going to be one of those deals. Oh hell, we got a hell of a race. You know, he still kind of limps around. We get him in. They're not going to go that route. So we don't know how long that's going to happen. Like you said, there's always that chance that, you know, if it becomes a long-term situation, they could make the move with Freeland, and, you know, that could all change if Ruiz has a hell of a time, you know, so anything could happen there.
No doubt about that. So the third base situation will be interesting. Bob Tan says Ohtani could teach him how to steal efficiently. Yeah. Esteury Ruiz is a elite base stealer. I mean, he can steal bases like crazy, and it's really fun to see all the speed at the bottom lineup too. Max ramps up, goes slowly. I'm not sure how much you get from him when he gets back. That's the deal. So I think the Dodgers are going to need to figure out, A, whether this is a long-term deal in terms of not really being able to rely on him in the playoffs, or B, if it is, then who are the options beyond that? So wanted to cover all those, cover Esteury Ruiz. Esteury Ruiz is actually how you say it there. And then just kind of getting back to the game, putting a button on the game last night, Coach. Not just Dustin May. It was a fantastic overall game, okay? The offense was good. Dustin May was fantastic. Kirby Yates did his thing. Mookie went deep. We said even though he's great, he needs that spark. And as an aside, hey, we talked about the third. This ties into our same conversation at third base. Miguel Rojas made the last out at third base of the game, and so that's important too. And so the Dodgers publicly saying they're staying in-house. We'll see. But last night, just a fantastic overall game. Before we get into some of our down-the-farm talk.
No, there's no doubt about it. It just everything worked out. The Dodgers winning baseball plays all over the field by a lot of different people. You just mentioned most of them. It always starts with a guy in the ball in his hand every pitch, and that's the guy on the mound. And that was very solid from the entire game. So a lot of things I like about it. Like I said, it's still out there what's going to happen, moving forward. But nobody ever, you really don't ever have all the answers in baseball. So right now, especially when you're dealing with an injury, you don't know how long it's going to go there. Ruiz comes back up. Is Freeland coming up? We got, I think we all feel good about defensively at third base. Shouldn't be a problem with the guys we have playing over there. But we'll see moving forward about, the stair step that goes with that. Is it Ruiz? Is Freeland come up? Is Max out for longer than they thought, or is he out a shorter period of time than they thought? You just never know. And a lot of things, there's a lot of unknowns out there, but, that's life in baseball. There's always unknowns, man. Hell, the sunshine is at them eyes. It's been there millions of years, but for some damn reason, we still lose fly balls in it. I used to always tell my outfielders, I can't help you on that. We'll show you how to block the sun with with your glove, your whatever, with your hand, whatever. Everybody uses different plans, but it's the same thing. There's a lot of unknowns in baseball that you have no control over. So, and injuries is one of them. It's nobody's fault there. Clean slide, just shit happens sometimes.
No doubt. Another reason why, and yes, Chuck is absolutely spot on this. What I'm trying to say about Freeland. So he's not on the 40-man right now. So to get him on the 40-man, the easiest thing to do that would be to put Max Muncy on the 60-day IL. So if you bring up Alex Freeland now, you have to DFA somebody off the 40-man. That's not what the Dodgers want to do right in front of the trade deadline. I promise you that. Right. Because you want to have all these guys ready to go in case you need to have a trade scenario. So I think it's going to be a situation to where the Dodgers are going to see whether they need to put Max Muncy on the 60-day. I think if they put him on the 60-day, Alex Freeland probably comes up the next day because that obviously gives them that natural 40-man roster and then 26-man roster spot without having to affect anybody else on that roster. Okay, let's get into the trash Joes. All right, Dodgers dogs, bring your trash talking. Let's go. No holds barred whatsoever. I hate the Astros. They suck. They cheated. I love their manager, AJ Hinch, during that time. We're just going to have to agree to disagree with all the Dodgers dogs because he grew up in Oklahoma. We have a personal experience with him. That trumps everything else. So I'm not going there on AJ Hinch. You and I both love the guy. So we won't go there on him, but it is no hold bars on everybody else. And how about the Rook getting the ball tonight? Ben Casparius as if to say, all right, young man, go ahead and get you some, Big Ben. Let's see what you're made out of, right?
Yeah, no kidding. The Astros are, again, there's a lot of hard feelings with the Dodgers fans, and I don't know if the players feel the same damn thing. I'm sure
they do. They do. Yes,
some of those guys do. I promise you they still do. Hinch is gone. I think Cora was there. He's gone. I mean, a lot of people. But there's still some that were there. They were involved in all that. So there's still that hate factor going on. They're a really good team. They're playing really well right now coming into Dodger Stadium. So if you look at it from the baseball side of it, it should be a great series. From the other side of it, I think Dodger fans could they probably hate these guys. I don't know. There's a lot of hate towards the Padres. I'm like you on the Padres. There's only two guys on there really pissed me off on the Padres. The rest of them are okay, even their manager. But, the Astros, like I said, some of those guys are gone that were there as far as the actual players and the manager that was involved in all that. And they're not going to have the damn camera in center field at Dodger Stadium to have access to it. So that's only when you play at home. So there's that part too. So, and I'm sure that's not going on now. Whatever. Sign stealing's always been an art in baseball, but not with the damn camera. Not with the damn camera out in center field. I think it's the same way.
Yeah, not digital. Don't make it digital. If with your human skills you can figure things out, great. We do that in football all the time.
All the time.
Hell, we do it in baseball all the time.
I do it in baseball. I used to tell my staff, I said, if they got our damn signals, hell, that's our fault. If they got our damn signals, that's my fault. That's our fault. It's not. Hell, we're trying to.
But not with a camera.
What was that?
Not with a camera and trash cans and crap like that. Yeah.
No. That is totally off the charts. Even in football, they got guys that are filming coaches on the sideline. That you don't do that stuff. You don't use cameras. You don't go digital. But if I got an assistant coach over here and he's sitting in my dugout, which I did have at Stillwater when we got in the playoffs, one of my JV coaches, all the hell I tell him, he's trying to pick up signals over there. That's
Absolutely.
trying to pick up stuff. That's his job. You ain't here to watch a game and coke and joke with everybody. Yes, you're watching the game, but help us out here. If you can pick up something right there and steal a signal, that's part of baseball. I always find it interesting when, guys get pissed off, want to hit a guy because he was stealing signals at second base. Well, hell, that's your damn fault.
Yeah.
I'm old school baseball. Your signals, shouldn't be stolen. I mean, I know they can pick up location, but the catcher shows too early where the pitch is going. That's one thing. But, as far as these signals, hell, that's your fault if somebody's got your damn signals. But unless it's digital is totally nobody should be allowed to do that, and they're not in any sport.
Funny anecdote that ties into that. We used to have you have dummy signalers calling in the pitches. We'd have two different signalers calling in signals, and neither one of them were hot. And Eddie Daves, who was a first-round draft pick in 1972, played professional baseball forever. He was actually the one calling the pitches, and he never even made a signal. So here's how we signaled it in. Okay, if it was feet together, then it was a fastball. If he had foot forward, then it was a breaking pitch. If his foot was behind him, then it was a changeup or whatever the third pitch that they have is. And then the location was based on which arm was on the rail. If you had the right arm, it was to the right corner. If you had the left arm, it was the left corner. If you had both arms, it was in the center. No chance anybody ever even had a clue that old man was calling pitches.
No.
By the way he did that. And I promise you know where he learned that? In professional baseball.
Yes.
So, that's it. Sometimes simplicity, but again, you can't use digital. And then tonight, the Astros coming in. How about this, Coach? They've won 21 of their last 28. That dates back to the beginning of June. And as Ela Shiva says here, they have been the best team in baseball in the last 30 days or so. So they come in hot.
Yeah, they're kind of saying that they were early in the year in a close race in their division. I think they pulled away quite a bit. Aren't they up 8 or 9 games too? I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I have not looked actually. But I just know they've been really good.
Yeah, I know they pulled away in their division, and but I'm like you. I also just know they're really damn good. So that makes it even better. Like I said, from the baseball standpoint, this is a great series. The Dodger fans will pack the place. The Astros haters will pack the place, and what happens on the field is going to be off the charts. That's a good point there. The Astros may be the best team in baseball in the last 30 days, but the Dodgers aren't far behind, so that adds even more fuel to it. And it should be a great series. Like I said, there'll be a lot of hate heading towards the Astros, and they earned it. But, a lot of those guys aren't there, so, there's that too. But a lot of the Dodgers are there that were involved in that, though. Kershaw ain't forgetting that crap, I promise you.
Yeah, we are not going to have to see Hunter Brown either. So kind of like in the Giants series, you're going to have to see Framber Valdez, but beyond that, you're not going to see Hunter Brown. So you're kind of getting a break there. To be determined on Sunday. Tonight, I think, is a huge game, Coach, because you have a guy going for Houston. I forget his name at the moment. I'd have to look, but he's very gettable. Okay, and then you have Kasperius going, and then you have Framber Valdez going. Although the Dodgers have Ohtani, he's probably only going to give you a couple of innings, and so from a pitching perspective, that's really Houston's real good shot there. So if you don't win tonight, you go in tomorrow having to beat Framber Valdez. Now, it's from a big picture, you're okay. So if that happens, then you leave the series with an 8-game lead. I mean, sure. I'm not talking about from that perspective, but just from an optics, I don't want to lose a home series to the freaking Astros. I just don't want that to happen. And so from that perspective, it's big to me. I think it's big for the Dodgers. Tonight, I think, is going to be a real big factor because, again, you have Valdez going tomorrow, Ohtani going tomorrow. I think that probably favors Houston because of the length aspect of the start there. And so Kasperius really needs to come through, needs to do just at least a good job. Offense needs to stay hot. You need to win tonight and then just play the odds in the next 2 games.
That's another thing we didn't touch on. It kind of went without saying, but May's performance last night really helped the bullpen, saved the bullpen.
Yes.
He got set. He got it. He went into the 8th inning, so that sets our bullpen up for this series too. And we know Ohtani start's going to be a bullpen game. He had 2 innings last time. I'm sure they got another pitch count. I don't know what the plan is here, but we know he's not going deep.
Yeah.
We know he's not going deep because we want him deep in October. Right now they're working him. He's getting his work in. It'd be nice for him to shove for 2 or 3 innings, and he's totally capable of doing that. But we know there's going to be bullpen involved in that one, a lot of bullpen involved in that one. So you're right. Tonight's a big one, but we can't look past what May did last night. It has really helped the bullpen get set up for this series. So that's a crucial part.
Okay, let's get into the Tyler Glasnow outing from last night, Coach. If you look at he gave up the home run, he gave up the 3 runs, whatever. But I really liked the Tyler Glasnow outing last night. I just thought it was an outing. If I was like a GM or whatever, and I'm not even close, but if I was evaluating the way that he pitched last night, are you seeing this, Coach?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If I was seeing his outing last night, I'm telling you, I bring him up today. I'm good enough. I've seen enough. The fastball is good enough. Now, he did rip some fastballs way up in the zone, like he's been that one right there. He did that quite some, and then he pulled his changeup and his slider some, but he only had 1 walk. So he's ripping that fastball there. He did some of that. I'm not saying it was perfect, but I'm saying for my money, it was good enough. I just don't see anything else that Tyler Glasnow needs to do at the AAA level. My opinion, I wouldn't have a problem if they left him down at the AAA level. I mean, because we'd get to see him in Oklahoma City, so that'd be great. So last night, Tyler Glasnow, 4-seam, sat 96. Spin went over 2,700. I mean, 2,300 is like the cutoff for good and bad. I mean, that's like as elite as it gets. And by the way, he was 61% in the zone with his 4-seam fastball. And the only hit he gave up on his 4-seam was to Nick Martini, who's 602 major league at bats, right? And it was 97 miles an hour. So it wasn't like it was 115 or whatever. The home run he gave up that plated all 3 runs was on a slider. It was on just a 1-2 slider that he hung. And then after the home run, he retired 5 of the last 6 he faced. 4 were on strikeouts. And the only other aviator to reach after the home run was an 81-mile-an-hour lob shot. So all in all, 6 hits, 3 on curveballs. So then again, only 6 hits, 3 of them on curveballs, just 1 apiece on his 4-seam, slider, and sinker. And even with the home run added in, the average exit velocity on the 6 hits last night was only 92 miles an hour. So yes, the 3 runs, you're like, it's a rehab, whatever, in 4 innings. But if you go under the hood, I like what I saw. So give me a couple minutes on Tyler Glasnow.
Well, it's like the same thing you just said right there. There are several ways of looking at this. This isn't a young kid trying to make it. He's a proven big league pitcher. He's a proven major leaguer. He's down there because he's coming off an injury. So there's that. So it's not like, well, we don't not. They're looking at what you just said. Where's the 4-seamer set and what's the spin rate? The stuff they're looking at is that. You hang a slider, a AAA hitter is going to hit it out too. Yes, that does happen. But I'm like you. How much more does he need? On the AAA level, and also you're looking at a Dodgers starting staff that still has to throw some bullpen games in there. This is again. I know he's coming off an injury, but this is a proven big league pitcher that was coveted when the Dodgers picked him up, and has proven to have big league stuff. And so how much more if the injury situation is taken care of, and what you see last night, I'm like you, Case. I think it's time to go ahead and bring him up. His next start, probably should be with the Dodgers, and because again,
I think so.
It's what else you going to get?
Why not?
I wouldn't be saying that if the guy's got 10 major league starts. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a proven major league pitcher that's had success in the big leagues, and so that's what we're doing. So that doesn't need a whole lot of more. You see what you get. The Dodgers probably saw what they needed to see out of him based on all the numbers you just gave me.
Yeah, 100%. So that's just my take. I mean, you're welcome to watch his outing last night and have your own take. That's what makes the world go around. Is not everybody likes vanilla, so some people get chocolate, right? So, hey, this is a guy, you've seen him in live probably 3 or 4 times now, Coach. I'm telling you, man, it's Ronan Cop is who it is.
Yep.
The guy reaches 100 miles an hour. He's gargantuan on the mound. I mean, but the thing is that he hasn't always been able to throw strikes. And so this last stretch that he's had, he went to the development list, got some things figured out, and when he came back, oh my God! I mean, this guy Ronan Cop is just destroying Double-A hitters right now. You can see right here, Coach. I'm wanting you to watch all this to let you just kind of evaluate what you're seeing with your own eyes. So how about this? Last night scoreless again, which is great, but more than that, it's what he's been doing, like I said, for the last month. Look at that slider. I mean, my God, after that huge fastball. So with the scoreless outing last night, he's gone scoreless 14 outings in a row, and on the year he has 49 Ks and 30.2 innings. So pumped watching Ronan Cop. I can't believe he's still in Double-A. I think they're kind of letting him continue to show some consistency at the Double-A level before they move him up to Triple-A and let him face those major league type hitters, hitters that have like 600 major league at bats that won't swing at a pitch 2 inches outside. They want to make sure he had his total confidence. But man, I'm so pumped about Ronan Cop. What do you see here?
Same thing, Case. I mean, there's no reason to rush him up yet. You want pitch about consistency. That doesn't mean a pitcher didn't lay an egg in there sometime with a start. But if the guy's he's showing great promise there at Tulsa, he's been consistent. He's getting the strikeouts. He's got good stuff, and he's been consistent with it. I totally agree. Let him finish out there. He's very close by watching what we're all seeing right here. He's not that far away from being a big leaguer. What the big leaguers have is that consistency. Is he able to come out every game, and have pretty much have the same stuff. Doesn't guarantee success. Everybody has bad starts. Everybody has nights they'd like to forget as a starting pitcher on every level. But the things he's doing with Double-A, that's a pretty good league he's pitching in right there. And
no doubt.
He's dominating those guys. So, the sky's the limit for him, and we may see him go to Oklahoma City towards the end of the year. I don't know. I'm not privy to that stuff. It's none of my business. But we do know he's not that far away from being a big league.
Yeah. Another guy I wanted to talk to you about, you have not seen him in person yet, but you will see him in Tulsa sooner rather than later. This is Zyhir Holt, one of the top prospects in the Dodgers organization. This dude, a great athlete, hits absolute tanks. I wanted to show you his slow motion swing. Tell me what you see here, Coach. I mean, this is a big, powerful dude. What do you see here from Zyhir Holt beyond just the results?
Right. I mean, I have a pretty good idea what that result is, but he's pretty quick to the ball right there, Case.
Yep.
I mean, it's what we used to always say. Short to the ball, long out front. I mean, if that's what you want to keep that
no doubt.
simple look, that's short.
What he is.
Yep, he's short to the ball and he's long out front. So that's a good looking swing. He's on the back. You got that back leg. You got his trigger. It looks good. I mean, that's a big league swing right there. Just got to get polished and get the reps.
Boy, and he has absolute RPMs behind the way he hits it. And also, one more guy I wanted to talk to you about here, Coach, as we stay down the farm, because he's a guy that doesn't necessarily have great stats right now. He has great stats lately, but just from just kind of an evaluated perspective, he has so much potential. Over 7 foot of extension. Now watch these assholes and elbows. Good luck trying to hit that. And what I wanted to show you is as you look at him midstream right here, see where his front foot is? I mean, it looks like it's headed to the third base dugout, right? But then watch where it lands. See where it lands? I mean, it lands right down the runway. So to the hitter, it looks like he's getting ready to crossfire pretty massively. But then when he lands, he's straight down the runway. So he's getting all of the advantages of being straight down the runway, but also making it look like a crossfire. He has a tremendous changeup, and then that slider there and a fastball that's in the 96, 90. There's that changeup, 96, 97 range. This is Jose Rodriguez. They call him T-Boo because his dad's nickname was Shark, and there's that changeup again. So from what you're seeing here from Jose Rodriguez, if you didn't know stats, if you didn't know top prospect list, you're just looking at a pitcher on video. As the old coach you are, what's going through your mind?
Well, I love the fact he's hiding the ball too. That's another thing. The hitter never sees a freaking ball. If you see how he's got to close as he's coming out right here, and then the ball's down behind his. You never see the ball till it comes out with all the elbows and assholes with it. So he has that deception. On top of you have to have more than just that. But you get great stuff, and you key it up with. He's got a body. He's got the long body, and you don't see the baseball until it's in your face.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
and
he's got
it's
good
over
stuff.
7 foot extension, so get some of that on for size, right?
Yeah, no kidding. It's about 50 feet from you and coming out, you know, and get you some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Good
wanted
movement.
to.
He's got good movement too.
I lied to you. One more guy. This is Sean Paul Lignon. He's a young guy. He actually started in Rancho, dominated Rancho, came up to Oklahoma City for like 2 or 3 starts, was real nervous. It wasn't the typical Sean Paul Lignon that you see. So then he went back down to Great Lakes, and he is the exact opposite of the Ronan Cops and the Jose Rodriguez's and the Tyler Glasnows.
Right.
He is smooth like butter, Coach. I mean, it's like 93, 94, 95. How many times have you sat in the dugout and gone, how in the hell do we have just one hit against this freaking guy in the 6th inning? And you're like, how are we not hitting this guy? I mean, that's Sean Paul Lignon. So if I were to ask you, if I'm the opposing coach and seeing what you're seeing here, and I say, why don't guys hit Sean Paul Lignon? It's not like he throws 100 miles an hour. It's not like his pitch metrics are insane. It's not like he has 9 feet of extension. I mean, it's not like his spin rate's incredible or anything like that. Why does he get hitters out at the clip that he's been one of the best pitchers in the organization and in minor league baseball? Why? I guess it's what I wanted you to answer here today, just based on what you're seeing.
Usually those guys are, if you hear that question come up, usually the guys are they're around the plate a lot.
Oh, yeah.
With movement. That's usually what it comes. But you're sitting there going, if you're on the side watching, you know, you're like, ah, dang, man, this guy don't have much of anything. But if you got a bat in your hand, you're up there, you know, you got some movement. You know, if you look at, he's got a little run, got a little movement, but he's always around the plate. And it's not in the same place every damn time. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those guys who just get people out and you don't know how. See right there, that's a pretty good little sweeper. You got a left turn on that right there. The guy had no chance at it. You know, so they're just those guys. They just know how to pitch. You know, you remember Carson Teal pitched at OSU.
Oh, yeah.
College World Series. I had him. We had him close for us when he's a sophomore. Same thing. You know, and come back, I was like, God, we'd look at each other. Like, we can't hit this guy. My catcher comes running in. It was a Division I catcher, Parker Zimmerman. He goes, Coach, his ball moves everywhere. Hell, he's just carving people up. You know, throwing 70-something miles an hour. But he's always around the plate. Everything has some movement on it. It wasn't anything, you know.
Well located.
You just never lock in on him, you know. And he'd throw, you know, he could pitch backwards. There's a lot of reasons going into how these guys get people out. When you're looking at it with your eye test, you're going, looks like he sucks until you try to hit him. Then he don't.
Yeah, that is Sean Paul Lignon. So I was very excited to get your thoughts on what you thought of those guys. And Aiden Feller had a good outing last night for Rancho. So did Miles Caba, Zyhir Hope. We talked about Evan Shaw had a good outing. Sean Mclan, your boy, played third base last night at Tulsa. He had a good outing, very hitterish. He had 3 hits last night, including a hit to put Tulsa in the lead. So those are the guys I wanted to accent and are down the farm with you today, Coach.
Okay.
As we brought it back here live, just you and I here on the screen. Gone over a lot of things today, but kind of put a bow on this thing, Coach. 4th of July show.
Well, I go back to just the way you started this thing, Case. You're feeling good. You wake up, all the things looking good down the farm with the Dodger farm hands, and the big club has got a 9-game lead. They got the Astros coming in tonight for one of the top series of the year, probably, and as far as Major League Baseball going. And like I said, the Dodger fans will be throwing some hatred out there quite a bit, actually, I'm pretty sure still. So things are looking really good right now. Like I said, you got Glasnow. Looks like he's maybe ready to come back. You know, hopefully we'll get better news on Max Muncy moving forward on the amount of time he's going to be out. But it's exciting to have Ruiz up and see how things go. I have no problem with what defensively third base will look like, but you know, we'll see how he fits in to the mix and how some of the other guys have to step up. And if Conforto is getting into his groove to become what the Dodgers need him to be. So, you know, this has been a great show. Like I told you, it's great to be with you on 4th of July. We spent a lot of 4th of Julys together.
Oh, yeah.
Good and some bad days, but it's baseball season. It's Dodgers are top to bottom, you know, minor leagues on up are doing great. It's a great day to be a Dodger.
It absolutely is. And just know if we ever go back to telling stories about our 4th of July tournaments, just know that they're based on reality. They might have been embellished just a little bit. Who knows? As the years go on, you know how that goes, right, Coach?
Absolutely. But I promise you, true story, me and Willie Young sat in the press box.
I know that, yeah.
We watched our teams play for this championship of the tournament, and Yeah.
Yeah.
Genio wasn't too happy with either one of us. He was a state commissioner at the time, and he wasn't too happy that either one of us were getting kicked out. The press box wasn't air conditioned that time. It wasn't a good place either. But great memories of baseball, 4th of July with you and your family, and the great Willie Young, rest in peace. Wilfred
Brad Holt,
one of a great baseball man, with the great human beings on the face of the earth when he was here, and gone too soon. And great memories about 4th of July, and looking forward to making some more today with my kids, my grandkids, and watching a big Dodger victory tonight. In case, love to you and Beverly and Terry, your family, and then all your Dodger dogs and all the Dodger dogs on the network with us.
No doubt, Coach. You know how much I love you, and I want to say one last time, you know how much we love you, Brad, wherever you're at right now up there looking down on us. We love you dearly. We think about you every single day. We lost you way too soon. So, Coach, thanks a lot. Love you, man.
Love you too, Case, and have a great day.
Okay, man, this has been a lot of fun to all you Dodgers Dogs fans out there. One last reminder just how awesome you are. Absolutely the most intelligent, best crowd out there, no doubt about it. So until next time, which will be maybe tomorrow morning, if I can get Austin Brubaker to hop on with me for a live show, or just, no, actually probably won't be tomorrow because we're going to the farm and we're hanging out. We're going to hang out with Tyler at the farm tomorrow. So the next time you see me or anybody on this station, unless Austin wanted to go on live tomorrow by himself or somebody without me, will be Sunday night with our live show. Hopefully Coach Barakoff can join on that one. If not, we'll figure something out there. So until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, remind you, it's a great day to be a Dodger.